So you've pulled up for your ride, and now you're wondering what can you do to help you warm up for your ride before you actually start riding. A lot of times we start the climbs right out of the parking lot, and a lot of times they're punchy right out of the parking lot. And so we can't have that long, drawn out warm up that we would need and that we would like on the bike. So some things you can do off the bike can help you substantially for whenever you actually get on the bike. Remember 3 exercises to actually help this happen. It'll bump your heart rate up, it'll help you move your upper back, and it will help you activate the muscles that you want to use. The first one is just a simple squat. This squat can be a mini squat. It can go all the way down to where your knees are 90 degrees and your thighs are level with the ground, or it can just be whatever you can actually perform. In this squat, one of the things that you're thinking about, your feet are going to be pointed out, your knees are going to be pointed out in the same direction as your feet, and you're going to think about dropping down as you do the squat. Your knees, ankles, and hips will all start bending at the same time. Your chest does not need to stay up as you are doing this squat. It's a body weight squat. And so what we're wanting are your legs to start being used. We want your quads to start being used. We want your calves to start being used for balance. And we want your glutes to start being used. And so think about your butt goes back and down, your butt comes up and forward. As you're doing this squat, as you do several of them, you're obviously not going to be going slow in this. You're just going to be moving through. You'll do about 15 of them. Up, down, and that'll help you to warm up your legs for your bike ride. Next thing we're going to do is to warm up our hamstrings, move our upper back to help support our neck, and also use our core a little bit because all of these things are necessary for biking. You do this with a windmill, so your legs are going to be nice and wide, and your arms are going to be out as far as you can reach them, stretching out that chest. Then you're going to reach opposite hand to opposite foot. As you do that, you are going to obviously bend over towards it. This will give you a dynamic hamstring stretch, and you will rotate your chest to reach that as well. And you may even find that you want to reach past your foot and around to get you a little bit more thoracic or upper back rotation. And that is perfect and great if you can actually do that. It does give you a little bit more hamstring stretch as well. Then you'll come right back up and you'll do the same thing on the opposite side. With this windmill, I would do about 10 to 12 each side. You're not holding this stretch. When we talk about warm-ups, we don't want to hold a static, passive stretch for any of these. We want to do active things. We want your muscles to be ready to work. As you do a passive stretch, like a passive quad stretch, you're making that quad say, okay, I don't have to work. I'll just chill. I'll relax. I'll lengthen. And they just chill. They're not ready to work afterwards. There's research studies that say this. And so we want a dynamic warm up or a more stretch and off of the muscles and or an activation patterning or a turn the muscle on and then turn the muscle off type gig. So those muscles are more likely ready to work and going to be more likely to work for you, especially if you have either knee issues, if you have other neck issues, shoulder issues. Turning the muscles on that you want to work is key for your warm-up. And so that's where you can add in other exercises that you see that benefit you in this warm-up routine. Last but not least, in this 3 exercise warm-up, because we all want to go ride our bikes instead of just doing exercises in a parking lot and looking funny, is a bent over overhead press. This one warms up your hamstrings a little bit because it makes them work, warms up your glutes a little bit because it makes them work, and it warms up your trunk in a deadlift type position. It also warms up your shoulders, the upper back, because we're pressing overhead with our hands. You can do this where your arms are out to the side and you are getting that overhead press as you're doing it, or you can bring your elbows a little bit farther in and do it more of a flexion type press. If we go more out to the side, then we get more of our upper back because it's keeping that pull as we're going up and down. If you do it more here in this kind of what they call scaption plane, it's more of that 45-degree angle with your shoulders. So this is 0, 45, 90. If you think about how much abduction or how much opening up of your chest that you have, then that's where you would get more of that control and more of those upper backs. In this 45 degrees is where you can do it if you can't get to that full back plane because your shoulders hurt with this. As you're doing this and you're in that bent over deadlift hip hinge position, you are thinking about setting yourself up for success there first before you move your arms. Knees are soft, feet are about hip width apart, your butt shifts back, and your chest and your trunk are nice and flat. If you find that you have low back tension in this, then I want you to slightly tuck your tail or do a posterior pelvic tilt. Now, it's not that you're like really doing a huge posterior pelvic tilt, it's just ever so slightly. And that will turn your core on a little bit more on the front to help support your back muscles as well. You are a cylinder in this trunk, and we want all of that part of that cylinder to work for you. This is what warms up your core. You will feel your glutes working a little bit more, and also you'll feel your hamstrings working a little bit more when you have that slight tilt back and your back feels nice and supported. Now from that, your arms will go out to the position that it feels comfortable with, and then you will reach up to the sky or in front of you, and then come back down and give a little squeeze of your elbows back into your trunk. Reach up, come back down and squeeze down, and that squeeze down, your shoulders are coming down away from your ears, and then you're coming back up. Many of us have neck issues, many of us have shoulder issues, many of us have low back issues. This is the great exercise to warm up all of those in one. And so do this probably like 10 to 12 times. You're welcome to do 2 rounds of this warm up and or just do 1 if you just have that time. Pop on your bike and try to go as slow as you can on that initial climb out of the parking lot to help your body warm up for at least 5 minutes. And then you should start feeling better in your body. And that initial kind of, oh my gosh, I can't believe how out of shape I am, thoughts that go into your head start to melt away if you are in better shape. Because your warm up, your body is starting to get used to doing the activity, and it will start having the blood flow that it needs to support your muscles and to support everything else that's going on. If you do have issues with fitness, check out some of these interval videos that I have here of how you should actually be riding to help you with gaining your fitness, and or check out down below. I have a membership of helping mountain bikers get fit and have more fun on their bike. Check it out, and hopefully those videos help you.